My so-called wife ran off W/AP in middle of a corporate party, so I destroyed all her belongings. This woman thought she could embarrass me and get away with it. I showed her who was the real madman in our relationship. Imagine my so-called wife trying to embarrass me in front of big names in the sports industry, and she brought her affair to link him up with these men. Like she had no shame. She didn't know I had been unto her. She thought she could destroy my career in the middle of a corporate party. Women. You give them an inch and they want to destroy you with it. I had known my wife was having an affair with another man while she was married to me. I just hadn't expected her to be so blatant about it and throw it in my face. She had thought I wouldn't be able to do anything. I had made this woman, and then she had raised her middle finger to me. This is why I would always advise husbands to watch their wives. Don't put them in way above their heads. That was what I had done to this woman, and she had thought she had the best of me. LOL. I showed her maybe I had gone a little too extreme, but I had to remind her of her little beginnings and see how she survived with me. The audacity of these beings. Can you imagine the humiliation I went through seeing my wife sell her lover to my clients and front him like her brother while I was standing there dumbstruck? Then they couldn't even keep it in their pants. They went to go and rump themselves up in her office, and one idiot had caught them. I shouldn't have invited her to the party. Hell, I shouldn't have given her a leeway into my career field. I should have curbed it all when I found out about the affair and what she was doing, storing away money to leave me. I wanted to wait until after the party, and then I would throw the divorce papers in her face and then make sure I did something worthwhile to make her regret going against me. But she had run one up on me, and I was angry. I was livid. Let me tell you all what happened at the party. First off, she ditched me. My ex-wife worked as a junior executive in our sports firm. She wasn't supposed to be at the party. It was for senior executives, and she was just a team leader for one small team in the firm. She didn't mingle with the higher-ups, but I had invited her for the party because she was my wife, and she had begged me to come. Literally, it was all my wife of 5 years, now ex, had begged for as we were together in the past months before our divorce finalized 2 weeks ago. She knew about the party and wanted to go amongst her colleagues because it would make her look like she had more connection than them. Or that was what I had thought. My ex-wife was like a peacock. She loved having bragging rights like it was her lifeline. I should have treated that as the red flag that it was, but I had just overlooked it because I loved my woman to show off. The amount of begging was incessant. She didn't stop, and it was becoming annoying, so I had procured her a ticket to our office corporate party that was meant for senior executives and the athletes we managed and their families. This was my first mistake. The day of the party came, and my wife took off to go get her nails and whatever it was done. Had I known she was cheating on me? Yes, I had. I had a private investigator trail her movement, but I had called him off after every evidence he gathered pointed to what I had known to my face. I had already known what I was going to do after the PA. Had I expected her to be stupid and flaunt said affair in my face and colleagues? No, I hadn't. Like I said, I was going to divorce her after the party at work. Well, it was time for the party, and my ex-wife was nowhere to be found. I tried her cell and every available method to reach her, but to no avail. I had even called her friend, who was almost inseparable from her, after I had sworn I would have nothing to do with her. I would get to the why later. I called the friend, and that one said she had no idea where my ex-wife was. I cut the call on the witch because she was useless to me. My ex-wife was ditching me, so I had to go without her. After the party, I would look for her. I don't think you all understand the importance of this party to me. It was the best thing to propel my career as an athlete manager forward. I had a client to pitch to the big guns, and if they accepted my client, I was going to be made. I didn't want anything to go wrong. Heck, that was why I had invited my ex-wife in the first place, so it would seem like I was a family man. Everyone loved a family man, so I had thought that would score me an extra few points in their books. I really didn't want anything to go wrong, but everything went as wrong as I could have never believed possible. I had felt like the ground should swallow me when my ex-wife showed up with her lover on her arm. I had gotten to the party and started making rounds greeting top men in the game. Like when I tell you, this was a hightail event. I don't know how the owner of my firm had managed to pull some big men in sports to the event. I had expected something, but not something as huge as how that party was, and it had bombed in my face because I had given that stupid woman an inch. I'm not talking big like Steph Curry or James. I would have fainted if my ex-wife had embarrassed me at an event with them in it. I can't mention the names of the managers and athletes at our corporate party because of privacy, and I could be tracked and sued, so I would just let you all imagine the high-end people that were there. I was making rounds when this woman came in from the front of the hall looking all glammed up and the man on her arm. I was livid, but I had to maintain composure because this was a gathering of influential people, so I had to keep cool and not cause a scene. She strolled in like she owned the place, and she and her lover were matching. Imagine that tall order of audacity. She was dishing and serving it. I could only close my mouth in shock, and the first thing that had come to mind when I saw her was how she had gotten an extra ticket for her lover to get in with her. I was shocked. Not only had she ditched me and come with someone who wasn't me, the witch had used me to get an extra ticket for her affair. I had felt so fooled. I had felt like the ground should open and swallow me. Then the witch sighted me and she withdrew back in shock. I had no idea what she had been thinking. That I wouldn't show up at the party? That was so foolish for her. But I had been there and she was shocked to see me there. Now that I'm replaying all these things in my head, it was so laughable, really. She had actually been shocked to see me at a party I had invited her for and decided to play it off in the most ridiculous way possible. My ex-wife walked up to me and became all cuddly sweet, and I just couldn't do anything but look in astonishment. Then she introduced the man on her arms as her brother. Her brother. If she had said cousin, I could have given her the lie. If she had said adopted brother, I would have applauded the lie. But she said he was her blood relative, and they looked nothing alike. I greeted the young man out of courtesy because I was talking to an important guest, and when I wanted to strike in and introduce the athlete I was managing, my ex-wife inserted herself and introduced her brother. Sorry, her affair. Like she was rubbing it in my face and there was nothing I could do about it. She knew there was nothing about it. My ex-wife went on to sing high praises of said brother while still holding his arm. She couldn't even have the decency to pretend like I was there. She thought she had little power. The guest I had been talking to was intrigued by ex-wife's lover's skills and handed her his card, which I quickly collected and tried to salvage the situation. Did you think I was going to let the witch run the reins? Not on my watch. I took the card and told the man that I was going to contact him for my own client. He smiled and walked away, and my ex-wife looked at me and then tried to formally introduce her brother to me, like as if I was still in diapers and didn't know what was actually going on here. Then I recall I said something along the lines of, "So you're sleeping with your brother now," and the shock on her face was epic. Women are so dumb. She thought she had been so sleek with her sneaking around behind my back. I had read some stories on this platform and thought there was no way the shit was real. In my head, I was like, ain't no way women were this delusional and men were this gullible, but it had happened to me. And I believe I was the most gullible MF of them all. I left where she was standing shocked and moved around the party. In my head, I was going to throw her things out of my house immediately I was done here. The witch had done enough damage. She wanted to take my hard work from me. I thought she was done embarrassing me. Nope, my ex-wife just had to be caught doing her lover in her office. I was about to leave the party when I received a notification and a video came on with my ex-wife sleeping with her in her office. They were literally slumming it down. My ex-wife had never shown off those moves when she was with me, but apparently her lover had better game, LOL. I wasn't even mad at that. I was mad at the fact that her face could clearly be seen and everyone knew she was married to me because she had flexed my name at work whenever she wanted something and wasn't getting her way. So people at the office knew she was affiliated with me and she had gone on to do that. Her lover's face wasn't showing in the video, so people had thought it was me with her in her office doing those things. Meanwhile, I had been watching the video with them. She was on a path to destroy my career. I had to do something. I had to go round the party. At least those left. I had to show my face to the people remaining so they knew it wasn't me with her. When I was done making rounds, I left to go back to the house. I was on a revenge path. I knew the important documents she had that were on her laptop. I deleted her backup files. Then I filled the tub with water and then I drowned it. I grabbed her belongings and took the property document that her father had left to her in his will, and then I set it on fire. She had tried to damage my life. I wanted to see how she was going to rise from the ashes with everything I was going to burn. I grabbed her clothes, the one she had stuffed in her box. It looked like she was planning to run away, or move away. I had no idea what she wanted to do. I took it and threw it, and I set it all on fire. She wasn't going to get away with trying to disgrace me in front of everyone. Now that I think about it, she had done it on purpose. Took her lover to her office and had sex with him and made it look like it was me so I would get fired. She knew that there was a strict no fraternizing with workers on the office premises rule, and she had done that knowing fully well she was quitting the job and planning to run away, and I was the one that was going to face the repercussions alone. I don't know what I had done to deserve this wickedness that the witch had thought to deal me with. I admit I hadn't been the best husband, and we quarreled almost half the time we were together. I just hadn't thought that she hated me to this degree. Well, she wanted to show me crazy. I showed her how crazy I could be, and I was the best at it. It was as the fire was ebbing that my ex-wife came home and I got to witness how shocked she was at how crazy I could get. And she had the gall to come back with her lover in tow. I punched him and stormed inside my house. My ex-wife had been ranting below and one of my neighbors called the police, so she had to leave. It was great watching her being escorted away by the police. I wished I had sprung up the police on her. The next day I told my lawyers to prepare divorce papers, and this woman thought she was so smart and tried to get me arrested. I destroyed her. I just realized I have just been ranting and hadn't given a backstory on how I had met the woman that had wanted to ruin my life. I won't go into the fake names BS. I'm not divulging my name because it doesn't make sense to do all that to me. I had met my wife on a dating app. Probably hadn't been my best idea. I can't remember the name of the app exactly, but it was one of the most popular ones. We had both swiped right on our pictures, and I had gone on 3 dates with her, and she had seemed lovely and bearable. I remember she was done with college and was working as a personal assistant to her aunt or something like that. I can't recall the details of our meeting. She was pretty, and I liked her despite my friends' warnings, and I decided to ask her to be my girlfriend. I dated her for about a year, and I needed to present a married man front to get to the level I wanted to attain in my field, so I had asked her to marry me. I hadn't listened to my friends when they were warning me that it wasn't wise to marry someone I just knew for about a year, but people were marrying someone they had just met in 3 days. I had paid them no mind and had a small wedding with my wife, or my ex-wife as it is now. We had a small wedding and she wasn't pleased. She wanted a big wedding. I asked her what she wanted a big wedding for. It wasn't like she was inviting many people from her side, just her friends. Her family wasn't coming to the wedding. I didn't know the main cause, but I recall they'd had a fight almost 2 weeks before our wedding, and they had said she could get married without their blessings. I hadn't even looked into it because I had been too engrossed in wanting to get married and get the position at my office. I couldn't care less what her family thought of me. We wedded, and I had taken her on a trip to Zanzibar for our honeymoon for 2 weeks before I dived into work when we got back. It was something, wasn't it? I began building and trying to impress my bosses and those above me in status. She had served the purpose of why I had married her, and I didn't know what to do with her again. Trust me, I tried. I hadn't loved her when we got married. I had thought I would grow to love her. My friends had said so. I had hoped that I was definitely going to grow to love her. I liked her. But then work took over, and I was too busy selling my clients to top blokes that I neglected my wife. Time flew, and it was our 5-year wedding anniversary. This was when I found out that she was cheating on me. Well, not exactly. I had started seeing signs and then decided to hit up a private investigator. What had been the signs? My ex-wife had called me another name while we were having our anniversary dinner at home. I was that paranoid. And my friend had just found out his wife was doing the same thing to him, and they were getting couples therapy. So when my ex-wife called me another man's name, I knew something was going on behind my back. It was like I had expected it. I had asked her who the person was, and then she had said it was her friend's baby's name she had called me. She'd had a little mix-up in her head and called me her friend's child's name. My ex-wife was a terrible liar. Anyway, that had set me on high alert because I didn't want to look stupid. I laughed away the uncomfortable moment, and she thought I had forgotten about it. I hired the PI and got feedback within 2 weeks, and I found out she was having an affair. After I had vouched for her and submitted her name for her to get employed in my firm. I should never have given her that leverage, but her aunt's firm had closed up because said aunt had traveled to the UK, and she couldn't just stay idle and needed something to do. This was one of the times I had been a good husband and had gone out of my way to put her needs first. It wasn't every time bags and jewelry. I thought I was doing something that was impactful in her life. I didn't know I was giving her leverage to make me regret doing that. All these happened before I found out she was having an affair with another man. My PI showed me everything I needed to go and get a divorce like every normal person, but I got informed of the party and thought I could win her back with gifts. I was grasping for straws and tried to win her back through material things instead of dumping her ass at the first red light my PI had given me. I bought my ex-wife gifts and it backfired. I was still watching her through the PI and she was still going to see him. When I knew I was being played for a fool was when my PI had reported back to me that he had seen her coming out of a pawn shop with huge wads of cash, and then she had stopped by her affairs house. I should have divorced her then. I should have just gotten it over with and had her out of my life when she started lying to my face about her whereabouts. This was when I had gotten into an issue with her friend. I had tried to call my wife and she wasn't picking up my calls, so I had called her friend. Her friend had picked up and said that my ex-wife wasn't with her, and then she had gone ahead to tell me that I should stop being a, pardon my bad language, pussy-whipped jerk and allow my wife to enjoy some freedom. My ex-wife had been gone over the weekend and didn't bother to inform me of her whereabouts. I called the friend all sorts of names and she blocked my number. My ex-wife came back the next day and tried to smooth things over with me. She lied that she had been with her friend and they had gone for a spa day, but in the middle of it she had to go and fix a work emergency, so she had left and had forgot to charge her phone. Like she had given me a half-faced lie and expected me to believe it. But I hadn't said anything. I had kept silent, thinking she would come to her senses while I was preparing for our office party and repping my clients. A month till the party, my ex-wife had come up and said she needed my signature to use and open an account with my bank. She had come at the perfect time. When I was stressed about a client I was repping and was trying to arrange his files. I had signed the papers she wanted and she had used it to open a joint account. And she had somehow convinced my account manager, who had been a friend of the family, to move my money into the joint account, all because she had seen my signature on a form. I was wondering how she had done it. She must have had some help because I didn't think my wife was capable of being that smart. But the joint account, it didn't exist, had just been a front, and she was actually siphoning money from my account to a secret account. I would have been none the wiser if not for the PI I had hired that had told me of the recent developments. She had wanted to steal my hard-earned money from right underneath my nose, and I had been gullible enough to not know what was going on. I had been so focused on work that I didn't even know what was happening around me. My PI told me and I called my account manager and started shouting at her. Then they tried to retrieve the money. Luckily they could, and I found out that this woman had a hidden account and it had a huge amount of money. She wanted to add my own money to the list of people she had scammed. And when she had gotten back after work, she had tried to act innocent and cute, telling me about her day and the likes, like as if I didn't know the fraud she had committed. I really don't know how I had been calm through the whole thing. It was so surprising that I hadn't kicked her out right there and then. But I had an ultimate goal in my mind. I was going to be free of her after the office party, and I signed the contract deal that was going to change my life. I kept quiet and acted innocent with her. Then the party came, and it all backfired in my face. I should have had the upper hand and sent her away, but she had tried to show that she was smarter than me. I have brought you guys up to speed on how the party went and how she tried to embarrass me. I was done. She had messed with me, tried to take away my money, and I drew the line at my career. No one messed with my career and went scot-free. I was a determined man when it came to achieving my goals, and I wanted to go far in my career. Ever since I realized I would never be handpicked in the game, I channeled my talents into becoming the person that gets athletes their dreams in their required sports. I would rather die than see someone try to ruin it, so I got back at my wife. I remember that she was trying to sign a major deal, and I had made sure that her laptop was spoilt beyond repair. She was going to go through a lot before she gained access to the things she used to have. I sent the divorce papers through my lawyers, and then my lawyers told me she wouldn't sign unless I met with my ex-wife. I disagreed, and then she called the police on me because I had burnt her things. That was such a low blow for her because I submitted all the evidence of illegal fund movement to her account. The questioning turned her, and I was set free. She had confronted me outside the station that all she had wanted from me was attention. And if I had just given her a little attention, she wouldn't have found another man. That was the dumbest excuse if I had ever heard one. Well, it was by in that chapter, and I was so glad I had come out unscathed. I want to tell you guys on this platform to be aware of women who are out to take everything from you and leave you in ruins. Luckily, nothing happened to my career. I still got the contract for the client under me and got made in my career. The video got deleted and no one traced it to me. As for my ex-wife, once she had signed the divorce papers, I was done with her. I blocked her number and everything connected to her. I would have loved to see how much she was suffering trying to salvage what was left of her life. But I couldn't be bothered. I moved on from that chapter. Redditors, I hope you guys learn from my experience and vet the woman you want to get married to carefully. I had been carried away by my career and had chosen someone who was as evil as they came. I hope no one gets to pass through what I passed through because some people may not have been as sharp as me to notice the subtle signs of cheating. Well, my life is taking a great path now. Doubt I'm going to get married anytime soon.